Jaden Smith was once a promising actor, but something happened on his rise to fame to cause him to disappear from the spotlight. While children of Hollywood stars often find it difficult to step out of the shadows cast by their famous folks, Jaden has been doing everything in his power to create his very own shadow since the moment he was old enough to perform. But as Jaden grew from a young boy to a young man, his relationship with Hollywood began to sour. The early box office promise he'd shown all but vanished, and the actor/rapper/philosopher has been distancing himself from Hollywood ever since.
I miss my dreads, right? But they're still on. Like spiritually they're there, and spiritually I can hide behind them, but you just can't see them.
After Earth Aftermath. Even if you've never seen 2013's After Earth, chances are you've heard of it. The disastrous sci-fi blockbuster starring Will and Jaden Smith as father and son cost $130 million to make, but only returned $60 million domestically, and landed an embarrassing 11% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
What was I supposed to do? What did you want me to do?
Will told Esquire, "That was the most painful failure in my career. My son was involved in After Earth, and I led him into it. That was excruciating." Jaden even won Worst Actor at the Razzies the following year.
And the worst actor goes to Jaden Smith.
Odd reputation. In 2014, the hacker group Guardians of Peace stole a bunch of sensitive information from Sony Pictures, and among the hackers' haul were private emails between executives. Most of the headlines were about big-time stars, but Will Smith's kids also came up in conversation. According to Us Weekly, TriStar executive Tom Rothman emailed former Sony head Amy Pascal a link to an interview that the Smith kids did with Team Magazine, writing, 1. Read this. 2. They are homeschooled. Don't let this family date your movies. In the T-Mag interview, Jaden theorized, "Your mind has a duality to it, so when one thought goes into your mind, it's not just one thought. It has to bounce off both hemispheres of the brain. When you're thinking about something happy, you're thinking about something sad. When you think about an apple, you also think about the opposite of an apple." The youngster then went on to claim he could manipulate time, saying, "It's proven that how time moves for you depends on where you are in the universe. It's relative to beings in other places. But on the level of being here on Earth, if you are aware in a moment, 1 second can last a year. And if you are unaware, your whole childhood, your whole life can pass by in 6 seconds." The then 16-year-old Jaden gave a number of unconventional interviews over the next few years, each one as baffling as the last.
My whole life revolves around educating myself and just learning more and educating the people around me so that we can all be happier.
In 2015, he told GQ that he had built his own pyramid from scratch, saying, "The tip is missing, but the whole structural thing is built, and it sits at 12.5 feet tall. I'll Instagram a picture of it once this comes out so people know what I'm talking about." The following year, Jaden told Pharrell Williams that nothing is real during their chat for Interview magazine.
The ones who know, know, but the ones who don't know just don't believe.
Science over cinema. After the crushing disappointment of After Earth, Jaden's movie career seemed to be over before it had really even begun. It would be 3 years before he acted again, and during his time away, Jaden and his sister became more interested in the pursuit of scientific knowledge than they were in making movies. He told GQ that he and his sibling had started their own mystery school, saying, "Plato, Pythagoras, all these students had mystery schools, and what they learned in there was sacred. Like, you couldn't say the word dodecahedron outside of one of the mystery schools or they would, kill you or whatever, because it was such a sacred shape." The celeb even compared himself to scientific pioneer Galileo, saying, "People think you're crazy. I feel like it's an honor actually for people to think I'm crazy, because they thought Galileo was crazy too. I don't think I'm as revolutionary as Galileo, but I don't think I'm not as revolutionary as Galileo."
Strawberries aren't berries, but bananas are, and so are watermelons and avocados.
How?
Under critical review, Jaden once referred to himself as, quote, "the future of music, photography, and filmmaking," a claim that angered a number of journalists in these fields. For the New York Post, Kyle Smith wrote of the star, "Jaden's primary activity these days seems to be trying to be the Black Boy George, minus the talent." It wasn't the first time a journalist had suggested that Jaden was all talk and no talent. The New Yorker wrote of his performance in After Earth, "Jaden, though agile and skillful, isn't a charismatic actor. He doesn't put a lot of personality into the part, and he doesn't have a deft way with the dialogue." Cinemixtape was similarly critical of the young star's performance, predicting, "Jaden would do well to bottle some of his dad's charisma for his next go-round. If he wants a career in film, he'll need to do better than this." No support in LA. After failing his driving test in 2017, Jaden took to Instagram to share his disappointment with fans. But his thoughts quickly turned from driving to life in Hollywood.
"I'm about to move out of LA because there's nobody here that's really supporting the youth or the youth's creativity and the things that they want to do.
A few months later, Jaden moved out of his parents' quote compound and into a $4 million estate in the quiet gated community of Hidden Hills, California, which reportedly stopped being so quiet after his arrival. One resident told Daily Mail, "This was a quiet neighborhood, but Jaden and his entourage are turning it into their own personal kingdom. He has a sense of entitlement. He doesn't care if security reprimands him or gives him a warning. He just continues to do whatever he pleases." Netflix and fail. Not long after he moved into his $4 million pad, Jaden received word that Netflix was pulling the plug on The Get Down after just 11 episodes. He'd played graffiti artist Marcus Dizzy Kipling on the show, which was created by Boz Luhrmann at the eye-watering cost of $190 million.
I see lights in the darkness! Yeah!
But luckily for Jaden, he had another project lined up with Netflix. An anime train wreck. While some of Netflix's original anime series have been getting rave reviews, others haven't been received quite as warmly.
Knock knock, it's me, Kaz. I brought you a big Toblerone.
Created by Vampire Weekend frontman Ezra Koenig, 2017's Neo Yokio stars Jaden as a vain magistocrat, who spends his days socializing and his nights hunting demons.
Fashion is not a commodity.
Oh yeah? What is it then?
It's a glimmer of hope in a cruel world.
Polygon reported the show's real fault was in the writing, with the review, "Kaz is an easy character to hate because he's based entirely on Jaden's Twitter persona. His philosophical statements are eye-roll inducing, and every moment of exaggerated teenage angst results in you muttering, 'Give me a break' under your breath." Geek.com called Neo Yokio a quote, "mesmerizing train wreck and a glorious failure." All about the music. Jaden has announced new musical projects on several occasions, but he never seems to go through with them. In 2016, he tweeted that he wanted to become a K-pop star, and even though he confirmed he'd be dropping a K-pop single, the track never materialized. In April 2017, he said that he, his sister, and his girlfriend Odessa Adlon were starting a rock band together, even posting a preview of a track. But nothing ever came of that either. Then in November 2017, Jaden finally dropped the album he'd been working on all these years.
He goes, "How long has he been working on this damn song?"
The 17-track Sire, A Beautiful Confusion, received mixed reviews from critics. But those who didn't like it really didn't like it. Pitchfork called Sire a paranoid fantasy that mixes new age thinking with apocalyptic rhetoric. It would be generous to call this kind of songcraft scatterbrained. Jaden finally revealed his true intention for Sire, telling Vanity Fair, "I want that vibe to come across so that people can say, hey, everybody isn't always happy 24/7. Because people like to think, oh, there are certain people in the world that just have it all and they have perfect lives. But that's just so not true. And this is a big shine on that."
It's like, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Can he turn it around? Jaden has been quietly re-establishing himself as an actor over the years, securing low-key roles in 2 feature films in 2018, Skate Kitchen and Life in a Year, and he plans to tour North America promoting his album in early 2018. The rapper also intends to release a deluxe a cappella edition of Sire in 2018, and to also drop its follow-up Eris before the end of the year. So while he might not have been cut out for a career in Hollywood, don't expect Jaden Smith to go quietly, or to stop sharing his genius.
50% of human DNA is shared with a banana.
Unbelievable.
Thanks for watching!